I was scrolling through my Uber history when I saw it. 3 years of rides, 847 trips total, and 683 of them, 80% were from the same driver. Robert C. 5.0 rating, black Toyota Camry. I'd never noticed, never thought about it, just assumed the algorithm randomly assigned drivers. But 683 rides from the same person over 3 years? That's not random. That's intentional. And I just found out why. Robert C. was my father. Pause. If stories about parents who found ways to stay close, who drove you to work, to dates, to life, without you knowing resonate with you, subscribe to this channel. We tell stories about the love that happened in the driver's seat while you scrolled your phone in the back. Now let me tell you about Robert Chen, my Uber driver, my father, and the 683 rides I took without recognizing him. My name is Sarah Chen. I'm a software engineer at a tech startup in San Francisco. I make $140,000 a year. I live in the Mission. I take Uber everywhere. I don't own a car. Don't need one. Uber is cheaper, more convenient. I can work during rides, check email, scroll social media, not worry about parking. For 3 years, I've taken Uber daily. Work, gym, grocery store, dates, everywhere. And apparently, 80% of those rides were driven by my father. A father I haven't spoken to in 10 years. Robert Chen, my dad, died last week, heart attack, age 58, found in his apartment by his landlord. I didn't know until the hospital called, listed as emergency contact. Old information from before the estrangement. Miss Chen, I'm sorry to inform you that Robert Chen passed away this morning. You're listed as next of kin. Robert Chen? That's my father, but we don't speak. Nevertheless, you're listed. We need you to come identify the body and handle arrangements. I went, felt obligated. Even though we hadn't talked in a decade, even though I'd cut him out completely. The estrangement started when I was 19, freshman year of college. I came out as queer. Dad didn't handle it well. Traditional Chinese immigrant, expectations, pressure. This isn't how we raised you, this isn't our culture. I tried to explain, he wouldn't listen, said I was confused. Going through a phase influenced by American culture. We fought. Badly. I said things. He said things. Mom tried to mediate, didn't work. I told him I needed space, time, to figure out who I was without his judgment. That was 2014. I was 19. I'm 29 now. We never reconciled. I moved to San Francisco, built my life, career in tech, relationship with my girlfriend Emma, friend group, everything without Dad. Mom and I stayed in touch. She'd update me. Dad asks about you. He misses you. He wants to talk. I'd say I'm not ready. Maybe someday. Someday never came because Dad died. Before I was ready, before I could forgive him. At the hospital, I identified his body, signed paperwork, got his belongings, wallet, phone, keys, watch. His phone was locked, but I knew his passcode, his birthday backwards. Same code he'd used for everything when I was a kid. I unlocked it. Don't know why. Curiosity maybe. Or guilt, wanting to know about the life he'd lived without me. I opened his apps. Facebook barely used. Email, work stuff mostly. Photos, empty, weird, no photos. Then I opened Uber Driver. Robert C. Driver since May 2021, 3 years. 4.98 rating, 3,847 trips completed. I clicked through, saw his earnings. $47,000 in 2023? Not much, but consistent. He'd been driving full time. Then I saw something else, a spreadsheet. In his Notes app, Sarah's rides tracking. I opened it, frozen. A list, dates, times, pickup locations, drop-off locations, all of them mine. June 3rd, 2021, 8:47 a.m., Sarah's apartment, to work, 11 minutes, no conversation. She was on her phone. June 8th, 2021, -6:23 p.m. Work to gym, 8 minutes, listen to Spotify, still likes indie music. June 15th, 2021, 7:15 p.m., gym to Mission District, 14 minutes, met someone, a woman, held hands getting out, I'm glad she's happy. Hundreds of entries. Every ride I'd taken with Robert C. documented. Observations about my life. About me. Dad had been my Uber driver for 3 years, documenting my rides, watching my life from the front seat, and I'd never recognized him. I scroll back to the first entry, May 2021. May 28, 2021, first ride. Sarah requested an Uber today, home to work. I saw her name on the app. I couldn't believe it. I accepted immediately, drove to her address. She got in, didn't recognize me. I was wearing sunglasses. Face mask, COVID protocols still. Baseball cap. She looked at her phone the whole ride. Didn't look at me once. Just said thanks when she got out. She didn't know it was me, her father, driving her to work. That hurts, but it also means I can keep doing this. I can be close to her, see her, make sure she's safe. Even if she doesn't know it's me. I couldn't breathe, couldn't process. Dad had become an Uber driver to see me, to be close to me, to drive me around San Francisco without me knowing it was him. For 3 years, 683 rides, he'd been there, in the front seat, watching me live my life. While I sat in the back, scrolling Instagram, taking work calls, completely oblivious. I went to Dad's apartment the next day, studio in the Sunset District. Small, modest, clean. I hadn't been there before, hadn't known where he lived. We'd been that disconnected. The landlord let me in. I'm sorry about your father. He was a good tenant, quiet, always paid on time. I walked through the apartment, taking it in. This is where Dad lived, for the past decade, alone. The furniture was minimal. Couch, TV, small table, bed in the corner, kitchen barely used. On the wall, photos of me, dozens of them. My college graduation. He'd been there, in the crowd somewhere, taking photos, while I thought he wasn't there. My first day at my tech job, I posted it on Instagram. He'd printed it, framed it. Me and Emma, from Emma's Instagram. Public photos. Dad had been following my life online, printing pictures, creating a shrine. I found his desk, laptop, Uber driver gear, portable charger, phone mount, a folder labeled Sarah. I opened it. Inside, printed Uber receipts. Every ride I'd taken with him, organized by date. Each receipt had a handwritten note. June 3rd, 2021, Sarah looked tired today. I wanted to ask if she was okay, but I can't. She doesn't know it's me. I drove carefully, made sure she got to work safely. July 18th, 2021, Sarah was on a work call, stressed, talking about a deadline. I took the scenic route, added 3 minutes, gave her more time to finish the call. She didn't notice, but she seemed calmer when she got out. September 2nd, 2021, Sarah went to the doctor today. I worry. Is she sick? I wanted to ask, but I can't. I hope she's okay. Every ride, observations, concerns, love, from a father who couldn't talk to his daughter but could drive her safely through the city. I found more entries, patterns emerging. Dad had studied my schedule, knew when I needed rides, positioned himself in my area, made sure he was available when I requested. The app's algorithm had noticed, matched us frequently because Dad was always nearby, always available for me. I'd thought it was convenient, never questioned it, just assumed I was lucky to always get a driver so fast. But it wasn't luck, it was Dad, strategically positioning himself, waiting, hoping I'd request a ride. And when I did, he'd accept within seconds, drop everything, come get me. 683 times over 3 years. I found a different notebook, his driver log, detailed. Strategy notes, May 2021. Sarah works at 650 California Street, starts at 9 a.m. Usually requests Uber between 8:30 to 8:50 a.m. I need to be in the Mission District between 8 o'clock to 9 a.m. every weekday, increased chances of getting her ride. She goes to the gym 3 times a week, usually 6 p.m. after work, always requests Uber. I need to be downtown between 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. those days. She grocery shops Sundays, usually 2 p.m. Goes to Whole Foods on Market Street. I need to be available Sunday afternoons. Dad had mapped my entire life, my routine, my schedule, my patterns, not to stalk me, but to be available, to be the driver I'd request, to be close to me the only way I'd let him. I found financial records, Dad's income. Before Uber, $72,000, sales manager at a medical supply company, office job, stable. After Uber, $47,000 a year, driver, gig economy. No benefits, no stability. Dad had taken a $25,000 pay cut, quit his job, become an Uber driver. To be near me, to drive me, to be part of my life without being in my life. I found his resignation letter, never sent, dated April 2021. After 15 years with this company, I'm resigning. I need a more flexible schedule, personal family reasons. Thank you for the opportunities. Personal family reasons. Me, I was the reason. Dad had quit his stable job to become an Uber driver so he could see me. I sat in his apartment, surrounded by evidence of his sacrifice, his planning, his love. And I felt sick because I'd been in those cars 683 times. And I'd never looked up, never really looked at the driver. I'd treated him like all passengers treat drivers, invisible, a service, a convenience. Thanks when getting out. Maybe a how's your day if I was feeling chatty, but mostly silence. Phone scrolling. Work calls. Dad had been right there, 3 feet away, separated by a front seat, and I'd never seen him. I found a USB drive labeled dashcam footage Sarah. My hands shook. I plugged it into Dad's laptop. Hundreds of video files, each labeled with a date. My rides. I opened one, random date, August 2022. The video started, Dad's dashcam, view of the back seat, me getting in. Hi, thanks for coming so fast. Dad's voice changed slightly, deeper, accent less pronounced. No problem. Where to? Work 650 California. You got it. I watched myself in the video, sitting in the back seat, phone out immediately, scrolling, not looking at Dad, not engaging, just existing in the space. Dad drove, carefully, checking mirrors constantly, taking smooth turns, avoiding potholes. I could hear him breathing, quiet, controlled, like he was trying not to cry. At one point, I laughed at something on my phone. Dad glanced in the rearview mirror, smiled, sad smile. The ride ended. I got out. Thanks. Have a good day, Sarah. I'd never noticed he used my name. Never thought it was weird. Uber drivers see your name on the app. They often say it. But this was different. This was my father, saying my name. Maybe the only time he got to say it. The video ended. I watched another November 2022. Me getting in. Rain. I was stressed. On the phone. Sorry, I'm on a call. Is that okay? Dad. Of course. Take your time. I had a work crisis. Talking to my boss. Frustrated. Angry. Almost crying. Dad drove in complete silence. Didn't interrupt. Didn't make small talk. But I could see him in the video, glancing at me in the mirror, concerned, worried. At one point, I said to my boss, I can't do this anymore. This job is killing me. Dad's hands tightened on the steering wheel, like he wanted to say something, to comfort me, to tell me it would be okay. But he couldn't, because I didn't know he was my father. He was just the Uber driver. The call ended. I sighed, exhausted. Dada, long day? Me, you have no idea. Dad, I'm sorry. I hope tomorrow is better. Me, thanks. Me too. Simple exchange. Meaningless to me at the time. But to Dad, it was a conversation with his daughter, the only kind he could have. I watched more videos, dozens, hours of footage. Me going on dates, Dad driving me to restaurants, to bars, watching me meet women, holding hands, kissing goodnight. Me going to the hospital, Dad driving me to appointments, sitting in the parking lot after drop-off, waiting, making sure I came out okay. Me going to the airport, Dad driving me, helping with luggage, saying have a safe trip. Me coming back from trips, Dad picking me up, welcoming me home without saying welcome home. 3 years of moments, small moments, insignificant moments, that were everything to Dad. I found one video that broke me. December 2023, 3 months before Dad died. Christmas Eve. I requested an Uber, going to Emma's family Christmas dinner. Dad picked me up. I got in, dressed nicely, happy. Merry Christmas, I said. Dad, Merry Christmas, Sarah. I was on my phone, texting Emma, excited. Didn't notice Dad's face in the video. He was crying quietly, while driving, tears running down his face. Because it was Christmas Eve, and he was driving his daughter to someone else's family celebration, while he went home alone. I got out at Emma's house. Thanks, have a good night. Dad, you too. Merry Christmas. I walked into Emma's house, warmth, light, family, laughter. The video showed Dad sitting in the car for 5 minutes, just sitting, watching the house, wiping his eyes. Then he drove away to spend Christmas alone. I paused the video, put my head down, sobbed. Dad had spent Christmas Eve driving me to happiness while he went home to an empty apartment. And I'd said thanks and walked away, never thinking about where the driver was going, what holiday he was having. Because drivers are invisible, just part of the app, not real people with real lives and real loneliness. I found Dad's last video, April 2024, 1 week before he died. Me, requesting a ride. Late night, coming home from a bar, drunk. Dad picked me up. I got in, messy, laughing. With a friend. Hi, thanks for getting us. Dad, no problem. Home safe? Me, yes. Home sweet home. I was happy drunk, singing, laughing with my friend. Dad drove carefully, extra carefully. He kept glancing in the mirror, making sure I was okay, making sure I was safe. We got to my apartment. I stumbled out. Thanks, buddy. Dad, get inside safely, Sarah. Drink water. Me will do. You're the best. I slammed the door, went inside, never looked back. The video showed Dad watching me go inside, making sure I got through the door, making sure I was safe. Then he pulled away. That was the last ride he gave me 1 week before his heart attack. And I called him Buddy because I didn't know he was my father. He was just another driver. Invisible. Disposable. I found Dad's phone again, looked at his text messages. Nothing. No texts, no calls. His contact list had 5 people: his landlord, his doctor, his former boss, mom, and me. My contact Sarah daughter, but no messages, no calls, nothing. Because we hadn't spoken in 10 years. And Dad had respected that. Never texted, never called, never violated my boundaries. He just became my Uber driver instead. I found one draft text, never sent, dated December 2023, Christmas Eve, after that ride. Sarah, it's Dad. I know you don't want to hear from me. I'm sorry for everything, for not accepting you, for pushing you away. I've been your Uber driver for 3 years. You don't know, I wear disguises. You never look at me anyway. But I've been there, making sure you're safe, making sure you get where you're going. I've seen you grow, become successful, fall in love, be happy. I'm so proud of you. I wish I could tell you. Merry Christmas, sweetheart. I love you. Dad. Never sent, just saved in drafts, for no one to ever read, except me, now, after he's dead. I went to Mom's house, showed her everything, the spreadsheet, the videos, the notes. She cried. I didn't know. He never told me he was doing this. Did you know he became an Uber driver? Yes. He said he wanted a change, more flexible hours. I thought it was strange. He took such a pay cut, but he seemed determined. He did it for me, to see me, to be close to me. Sarah, your father never stopped loving you, never stopped hoping you'd come back. He just found a different way to be your father. I was in his car 683 times. 683 times, Mom. And I never recognized him. You weren't looking for him. Why would you? You thought he was out of your life. But he wasn't. He was 3 feet away, driving me to work, to dates, to life. And I treated him like he was invisible. Mom held me. You didn't know. You can't blame yourself for not knowing. But I did blame myself because I should have looked, should have seen, should have recognized my own father. I went back to Dad's apartment, needed to go through everything, decide what to keep, what to donate. I found a box under his bed labeled Sarah Childhood. Inside, my baby photos, elementary school artwork, report cards, awards, birthday cards I'd made him, World's Best Dad written in crayon. Dad had kept everything, carried it through the estrangement, through the decade of silence. Because I was still his daughter, even when I told him I wasn't, I found more Uber logs, not just rides he gave me, but rides he didn't get. March 15th, 2023. Sarah requested ride. Surge pricing. I wasn't close enough. Another driver got her. I drove to her route anyway. Followed at a distance. Made sure she arrived safely. July 4th, 2023. Fear. Sarah requested ride. I was offline. Family emergency. Mom's birthday. By the time I got online, she'd already left with another driver. I felt sick. What if something happened? What if the other driver wasn't careful? Dad had been tracking my rides, even when he wasn't the driver, making sure I was safe. Following up obsessively. Not in a creepy way, in a father way, a desperate father way. A father who couldn't be there officially, but could be there unofficially. I found his calendar, 3 years of entries, every single day marked with either S ride. Morning, he drove me. East ride mighties. Evening, he drove me. Nos ride. I didn't request Uber or someone else got me. On days marked Nos ride, there were notes. Worried. Where did Sarah go? Did she walk? Take bus? Get ride from Emma? Checked her Instagram. She posted from coffee shop. She walked 1.2 miles. Did she have water? Was she safe? Dad had been following my life like a detective. Social media, Uber patterns, schedules, everything. Making sure I was okay, even from a distance, even without me knowing. If you're listening to this and you take Uber, Lyft, any rideshare, look at your driver. Really look. Say more than thanks. Ask them how they are. Learn their name. Because one of them might be someone's father, someone trying to stay connected the only way they can, someone driving you safely while dying inside. Don't be like me. Don't scroll your phone for 683 rides and never look up. Don't realize too late that the driver was more than a driver. I found Dad's will. Simple everything to me. His savings, $23,000. His car, the Toyota Camry he'd driven me in 683 times. His apartment deposit, his belongings, and a letter, sealed. To Sarah, read after I'm gone. I opened it. The final letter. The one he meant for me to read. My hands were shaking. Dear Sarah, if you're reading this, I'm gone. I'm sorry. I need to tell you something. I've been your Uber driver for 3 years, since May 2021. You didn't know. I made sure you wouldn't. Sunglasses, mask, hat. I changed my voice slightly. You never looked at me anyway. I'm not telling you this to make you feel guilty. I'm telling you because I want you to know I was there. I drove you to work 374 times. I made sure you were never late. I took the best routes, avoided traffic, got you there safely. I drove you home 186 times. I made sure you got inside safely. I waited until you were through your door. I drove you on dates 47 times. I saw you fall in love. I'm so happy you found Emma. She seems wonderful. I drove you to the hospital 8 times. I was terrified every time, but you were okay. And I was so relieved. I drove you 683 times total. Each ride was a gift, a chance to be close to you, to take care of you, to be your father even when you didn't want me to be. Sarah, I'm sorry for everything, for not accepting you when you came out, for saying those terrible things, for making you feel like you had to choose between your identity and your family. I was wrong, so wrong, and I've spent 10 years regretting it. But I couldn't apologize because you needed space. You asked for space, and I had to respect that. So I found another way. I became your driver. I kept you safe. I made sure you got where you were going. That's all I could do. And it wasn't enough, but it was something. I love you, Sarah. I always have. I always will. Even from the front seat. Even without you knowing. I hope someday you can forgive me. Dad. I spent the next week going through every single ride receipt, all 683 of them, printed them out, spread them across Dad's apartment floor, organized by date, looking for patterns, trying to understand. The first thing I noticed, surge pricing. Dozens of rides during peak hours, 2x, 3x, even 4x surge. I'd always paid the surge price. Annoying but necessary. San Francisco traffic, high demand. But then I found something in Dad's financial records. Venmo transactions to Uber. June 15, 2021 minus reimbursement, Sarah ride surge difference. September 30, 2021, reimbursement, Sarah ride surge difference. December 23, 2022, reimbursement, Sarah ride surge difference. $47. Hundreds of transactions, going back 3 years. Dad had been paying Uber back for surge pricing. I didn't understand at first. Why would a driver pay back surge pricing? Drivers benefit from surge. They make more money. Then I found his notes. Surge pricing strategy. When Sarah requests during surge, Uber charges her extra. I get a cut, but that's not right. She's paying more because I want to be her driver. Solution, accept the ride, get paid surge wages. Then Venmo, Uber the difference. So Sarah pays normal fare, but I still get the ride. It costs me money, but it means I'm not profiting from making her life more expensive. This is about being her father, not making money off her. I calculated the total 3 years of surge reimbursements, $8,472. Dad had paid $8,472 out of his own pocket to make sure my Uber rides weren't more expensive during surge times. Because he was driving me and he didn't want me to pay extra just because he wanted to be near me, I found another pattern. Rides I'd canceled, about 40 of them over 3 years. Canceled because I changed my mind, decided to walk, got a ride from Emma, whatever reason. Each cancellation showed in Dad's log. July 8th, 2021, Sarah canceled ride. I was 2 minutes away. I still drove to her apartment, parked across the street for 30 minutes, made sure she didn't need help, made sure she was safe. October 12th, 2022, 90 Sarah canceled ride, late night, 11 p.m. I drove to her location anyway, bar in Soma, waited outside for an hour. She came out with friends, got in someone's car. I followed them, made sure they got her home safely. Dad had been following through on canceled rides, making sure I was okay, that I didn't need help. Spending his time, his gas, his energy on rides he wasn't even paid for because he was a father first, a driver second. I found receipts for car maintenance, Dad's Camry, meticulous records. Oil changes every 3,000 miles, tire rotations every 6,000 miles, professional detailing monthly. Notes on each maintenance record. Sarah deserves a clean car. A safe car. I need to maintain this perfectly. Dad's car had 127,000 miles on it, most of those from Uber driving, from driving me, and he'd maintained it obsessively, better than most people maintain their own cars, because I was riding in it, his daughter. It had to be perfect. I found Dad's Uber driver forum account, username sfdriver_RC. I logged in using the password from his notebook. Same password as everything, birthday backwards. 3 years of posts. Hundreds of them, all about driving, strategy, tips, and me. June 2021 minus FD driver_RC. New driver here. Question: is it possible to increase chances of getting the same passenger repeatedly? Asking for research purposes. Responses from other drivers. Why would you want that? Variety is better. Are you trying to stalk someone? That's creepy, man. Dad's response: no, nothing like that. It's my daughter. We're estranged. She takes Uber frequently. I became a driver to be near her. She doesn't know it's me. I just want to make sure she's safe. Different responses. Dude, that's beautiful and sad. Be careful. If she finds out, she might feel violated. I get it. I do the same for my kid. September 2021. ISF driver_RC. Update. I've driven my daughter 87 times now. She still doesn't recognize me, but I'm learning so much about her life. She's successful, happy, dating someone. I'm so proud. Someone responded, does she tip? Dad, sometimes, not always, but I don't care about tips. I care that she gets home safely.
March 2022.
ISFDira_RC. Tough night. Drove my daughter to a hospital. She didn't say why. Just asked me to wait. I waited for 3 hours. She came out crying. Got back in the car. Said, I'm okay, just take me home. I wanted to hug her, to ask what happened, to comfort her. But I couldn't, because I'm just her driver. Being a father from the front seat is the hardest thing I've ever done. Dozens of responses. Other drivers. Supportive. Empathetic. You're a good dad, Robert. Your daughter is lucky even if she doesn't know it. Keep going. Someday she'll understand. December 2023. Inti SF driver_RC. Christmas Eve. Drove my daughter to her girlfriend's family dinner. She was so happy, beautiful, dressed up. I dropped her off. Watched her go inside. Warmth, light, family. Then I went home to my empty apartment, ate instant ramen, watched TV alone. This is my choice. I don't regret it. But God, it hurts. Someone responded, why don't you just tell her? Tell her it's you. Reconcile. Dad, because she asked for space. 10 years ago, she asked me to respect her boundaries, and I'm respecting them. This is the only way I can be her father without violating what she asked for. I read every post, every comment, every interaction Dad had with other drivers. He built a community, people who knew about his mission, who supported him, who checked in, and I'd had no idea. While I sat in the back seat scrolling Instagram, Dad had a whole community of drivers who knew he was sacrificing everything to keep me safe. I found private messages between Dad and another driver. Username Bay Area driver_M. May 2022. Midi Airy driver_. Robert, I got your daughter's ride today. She requested in Oakland. You were too far. I'm sorry, man. Dad, did she get there safely? Was the car clean? Were you polite? Bay Area driver_M. Yes, yes, and yes. She was on her phone the whole time. Seemed fine. Don't worry. Dad, thank you. I owe you. This happened multiple times. Other drivers messaging Dad when they got my ride, updating him, making sure I was okay. Dad had recruited other drivers, asked them to watch out for me, to tell him if they picked me up. I wasn't just being driven by my father. I was being monitored by a network of drivers who knew about me, who were keeping me safe because Dad asked them to. I found one driver's number in Dad's phone, called him. Hello, hi, is this Bay Area driver_M? I found this number in Robert Chen's phone. Robert? Oh man, I heard he passed. I'm so sorry. He was a good guy. This is Sarah, his daughter. Silence. Then Sarah. Wow, I've heard so much about you. You knew about me? Everyone in the driver community knew about you. Robert talked about you constantly, how you were his daughter, how he was driving you, how he was trying to be a good father from a distance. Did other drivers know when they drove me? Some of us, yes. Robert had a group, maybe 8 drivers. He'd ask us to message him if we ever got your ride, to tell him you were okay. And you did? Yeah, I picked you up 3 times. Always told Robert he'd ask details. Where you went, if you seemed okay, if the car was clean. That's invasive. Maybe, but it was love. Desperate love. Robert missed you so much, this was the only way he knew how to stay connected. Did he pay you to report on me? No, never. We did it because we understood. Most of us are fathers. We got it. I thanked him, hung up. My father had built a surveillance network, not in a creepy way, in a protective way, making sure I was always safe, always accounted for, always okay, even when he couldn't be the one driving me. I went through Dad's Uber ratings, 4.98 overall, very high, but not perfect. I found his strategy notes. Rating management. I only care about Sarah's ratings of me. Every other passenger is just filler to maintain my driver status. Sarah has given me 5 stars 512 times. Sarah gave me 4 stars 37 times. Sarah gave me 3 stars 8 times. Sarah gave me no rating 126 times. The 4-star rides. I need to analyze these. What did I do wrong? How can I improve? The 3-star rides. These haunt me. What happened? Was I not careful enough? Did I upset her? I pulled up my Uber account. Looked at my rating history. I barely rated drivers. Didn't think about it. Uber would prompt me. Sometimes I'd rate, sometimes I'd skip, but I found the rides where I'd rated Robert C. poorly. August 2021, -3 stars. Driver took a weird route. Added 5 minutes. I pulled up Dad's notes for that ride. Sarah gave me 3 stars today. She thought I took a weird route, but there was an accident on her usual route. I took a detour, saved her from sitting in traffic for 30 minutes. She didn't know. She just thought I was incompetent. That broke my heart. November 2022, 4 stars. Driver was quiet. Weird vibe. Dad's notes. Sarah gave me 4 stars. Said I was quiet. I was quiet because I was crying. She'd posted on Instagram about feeling depressed, about work stress. I wanted to comfort her, but I couldn't, so I stayed quiet, tried not to break down. She thought I was weird. Every low rating I'd given, Dad had documented, analyzed, blamed himself. Never blamed me, never got angry, just tried to figure out how to be a better driver, a better father. I found rides where I'd been rude, handful of them, bad days, stress. I'd taken it out on the driver. March 2023. Driver, can you hurry up? I'm late. Dad's notes. Sarah snapped at me today, told me to hurry. I was already going as fast as safely possible, but she was stressed, late for a meeting. I didn't take it personally. I just said, I'll do my best. She didn't apologize, just went back to her phone. I wanted to tell her, sweetheart, I'm going as fast as I can. I'd never make you late. I'm your father. But I couldn't, so I just drove faster. July 2023, long address. I said Market Street, not Mission Street. Dad's notes. I made a mistake today. Heard Sarah wrong. She was angry. Corrected me harshly. I said Market, not Mission. Can you even hear? I apologized. Fixed it immediately, but it hurt. Not because she corrected me, because I failed her. I'm supposed to be perfect for her. I can't make mistakes. I remembered these rides vaguely. Didn't remember being rude specifically, but I was, to my father, who was trying his best, who was sacrificing everything. And I treated him like an incompetent driver, like he was stupid, like he was disposable. I called Emma, told her everything. The Uber rides, the logs, the letters, all of it. She was silent for a long time. Then Sarah, I don't even know what to say. That's beautiful and heartbreaking and invasive and loving all at once. I was in his car 683 times. And I never looked at him. Never really looked. You weren't supposed to. You thought you were estranged. You thought he wasn't in your life. But he was. He was right there, 3 feet away. And I treated him like furniture. You treated him like a driver. That's what passengers do. You didn't know. I should have known. I should have looked up from my phone, should have made conversation, should have seen. Sarah, you can't blame yourself for not recognizing a father who was disguising himself. He wore sunglasses, masks, changed his voice. He made sure you wouldn't recognize him. But why? Why not just talk to me? Why not just call and apologize? Because you asked for space, and he was respecting that in the most extreme way possible. He found a loophole, a way to be close without violating what you'd asked for. Emma paused. Sarah, I need to tell you something. Your dad drove me too. What? I checked my Uber history. Robert C. drove me 14 times. Always when I was coming to your apartment or leaving your apartment, I think he was checking on me, making sure I was good for you. Oh my God. One time, I remember, he asked me, are you happy? I thought it was a random question. Small talk. I said yes, very happy. He smiled, said good. That's good. Now I realize he was asking about you, making sure I was making you happy. I couldn't speak. Sarah, your dad vetted me through Uber rides without me knowing that's parenting, extreme parenting. But parenting, I went back to dad's apartment, needed to be in his space, understand him better. I found his closet, the disguises, sunglasses, 5 pairs, baseball caps, 7, face masks, dozens, even after COVID protocols ended. A wig, gray, different from his natural hair. Dad had been method acting every single ride, becoming a character, hiding himself, so I wouldn't recognize him. That takes commitment, planning, desperation. I found a mirror in the closet, taped to it a photo of me and a note. Remember, you're doing this for her, to keep her safe, to be her father. It doesn't matter if she doesn't know. It doesn't matter if she's rude sometimes. You're her father. This is what fathers do. They show up, even in disguise, even from the front seat. Keep going. A pep talk to himself. Daily reminder of why he was doing this. I found Dad's car keys, the Toyota Camry parked outside his apartment. I went down, looked at it, black, clean, well-maintained, 127,000 miles. This was where Dad and I spent time together. 683 rides, hours and hours, in this car. I unlocked it, sat in the back seat, where I always sat, passenger side. The car still smelled like Dad, faint cologne, coffee, pine air freshener. I looked at the front seat, imagined Dad there, driving, glancing at me in the rearview mirror, hoping I'd look up, hoping I'd recognize him. But I never did. I moved to the front seat, driver's seat, where Dad had sat thousands of times. The seat was adjusted for someone taller than me, Dad's height. I could see the wear on the steering wheel from Dad's hands, gripping, driving, controlling the car carefully, keeping me safe. I found things in the front, Dad's things, phone charger, water bottle, protein bars. A photo of me tucked into the sun visor, me at my college graduation, smiling, happy, young. Dad looked at this photo every single day, before every ride, after every ride. Reminded himself who he was doing this for. I found the dash cam, still installed, still recording. I turned it off. Dad was gone, no need to record anymore. But then I thought, no, keep it on, keep recording. Dad would want the car to be safe. Even now, I found Dad's Uber driver manual, highlighted, annotated, notes in the margins. Passenger safety protocol essential. Always confirm passenger identity before starting ride. Keep car clean, passengers notice. Be polite but not intrusive, respect personal space. Dad had studied this, taken it seriously, because being an Uber driver wasn't just a job. It was his mission, his way of parenting. I started the car, engine purred, smooth, well maintained. Dad had taken care of this car better than anything else in his life. I drove, just around the block, slowly, carefully, the way Dad would have. This is what Dad did, every day, for 3 years. Drove this car, hoping to get pinged by my ride request, hoping to be chosen by the algorithm, hoping to see me. I parked back at Dad's apartment, sat in the car, cried. This car was sacred. This was the space where Dad and I coexisted, where he was my father and I was his daughter, even though I didn't know it. I found something in the glove compartment, an envelope, addressed to me. Sarah, open if I die suddenly. I opened it, another letter, dated January 2024, 2 months before he died. Sarah, if you're reading this, I'm dead. And you found out about the Uber driving. I'm sorry, I know this might seem creepy, invasive, wrong, but I need you to understand. I wasn't stalking you. I was protecting you. When you asked for space 10 years ago, I respected that. I didn't call. I didn't text. I didn't show up at your apartment. But I couldn't stop being your father. I couldn't stop worrying about you. So I found a way. A way to be close without violating your boundaries. A way to make sure you were safe without forcing myself back into your life. I became your driver. For 3 years, I've driven you everywhere. Work, home, dates, appointments. I've been there making sure you were safe, making sure you got where you needed to go. I've seen you grow, succeed, fall in love, be happy. That's all I wanted. To know you were okay, to help in the only way you'd let me. I know you might be angry, you might feel violated, you might think this was wrong. But Sarah, I'd do it again, 1,000 times. Because being your father, even from the front seat, even in disguise, even without you knowing, was better than not being your father at all. I love you, I'm proud of you, and I'm sorry for everything. For the past, for this, for dying before we could reconcile. You deserved a better father, one who accepted you immediately, who never made you choose, who never made you feel like you had to cut him out. I failed you, but I hope, in some small way, these 3 years made up for it. I hope I kept you safe. I hope I helped. That's all I ever wanted, to help, to be your dad. Even from the driver's seat. I love you, sweetheart. Dad. I folded the letter, put it back in the envelope, put it in my pocket, where I'd carry it. Always. I went back to Mom's house, showed her the car, the letters, the forum posts, everything. She cried. He never told me any of this. He said he was driving Uber for extra money, for flexibility. I didn't know he was doing it for you. Did he ever talk about me? Every day. Every single day. He'd ask if I'd heard from you, if you were okay, if you needed anything. I'd tell him what I knew, what you told me. He'd listen, take notes. I thought he was just being a concerned father from a distance. I didn't know he was using that information to track your Uber patterns. Mom, was he happy these last 10 years? Was he okay? She thought about it, long time. Then I don't think he was happy, but I think he was content. He'd found a way to be your father that gave him purpose. Without that, I think he would have fallen apart completely. He sacrificed everything, his job, his money, his time, for me. That's what parents do, Sarah. They sacrifice, sometimes in ways their children never see, never know about. Your father's sacrifice just happened to be more extreme than most. I went back to Dad's apartment one more time. Needed to pack things up. The lease was ending. Had to clear everything out. I packed his clothes, his books, his photos, everything I wanted to keep, everything that mattered. And I packed the Uber gear, the sunglasses, the hats, the masks, the disguises, because those mattered too. Those were the tools Dad used to love me, to stay close, to be my father when I told him he couldn't be. I found one more notebook, small, pocket-sized, in Dad's nightstand. Things I want to tell Sarah someday. I opened it. Pages of entries, things Dad wanted to say but couldn't. Sarah, I'm so proud of you. Your promotion. You worked so hard. You deserve it. Sarah, I'm sorry you're stressed. Work is hard, but you're handling it. You're so strong. Sarah, I love Emma. She makes you happy. That's all I ever wanted for you. Sarah, I saw you crying today, in the back seat, on your phone. I wanted to pull over, to hug you, to tell you everything will be okay, but I couldn't. So I just drove carefully and hoped my careful driving was a hug you couldn't feel. Hundreds of entries, 3 years of things Dad wanted to say, things he stored up, hoping someday he'd get to tell me. He never did, because someday never came. The last entry, March 2024, 1 week before he died. Sarah, I'm tired. My heart isn't what it used to be. The doctor says I need to slow down, rest more. But I can't stop driving, because if I stop being close to you, and I can't do that. I'd rather die driving you to work than live comfortably without you in my life. That's not a tragedy. That's a choice. My choice. And I'd make it again. I made a decision 2 weeks after Dad died. A decision that seemed crazy, but I needed to understand I was going to become an Uber driver. Emma thought I'd lost my mind. Sarah, you make $140,000 a year as a software engineer? Why would you drive Uber? Because I need to understand what Dad experienced, what he felt. I need to sit where he sat, see what he saw. You can just sit in his car. You don't have to actually drive strangers. But that's not the same. Dad wasn't just sitting in a car. He was serving people, being invisible, hoping one passenger would be me. I need to feel that. I signed up, used Dad's car, the Toyota Camry, 127,000 miles. The car that had driven me 683 times. Uber approved me in 3 days. Background check cleared, car inspection passed. I was now an Uber driver. I started on a Saturday morning, 8 a.m., Dad's usual time to start positioning for my morning work rides. I drove to the Mission District, where I lived, where Dad used to wait, hoping I'd request a ride. I sat there, in the driver's seat, app open, waiting for a ping. And I understood, immediately, the vulnerability, the hope, the anxiety. Every time the app made a sound, a potential ride, my heart jumped. Is it Sarah? Is she requesting? Except I wasn't waiting for me. I was waiting for anyone. But Dad had been waiting specifically for me, for 683 rides worth of pings, most of which weren't me. How many pings did Dad decline? How many rides did he reject because they weren't mine? I found the answer later in his records. Over 3 years, Dad had declined 4,219 rides because they weren't me, because he was positioning for me. That's 4,219 times Dad said no to money, to fares, to other passengers because he was waiting for his daughter. My first ping came 8:47 a.m. Pickup at Mission and 24th Street. My address, my building. For a second, I thought, what if it's me? What if past me requested a ride and present me has to drive her? But of course it wasn't. It was a stranger, Jessica M. going to Financial District. I accepted. Drove the 3 blocks to my building, pulled up. A woman came out, mid-30s, professional, phone out immediately. Got in the back seat. Hi. Good morning, Jessica. Yep, Financial District, please. She went silent, scrolling her phone, didn't look at me once. And I got it. I understood completely. This is what I'd done to Dad 683 times. Got in, said hi, went to my phone, treated him like furniture. This woman wasn't rude. She wasn't mean. She was just living her life. The driver was a service, not a person. I drove carefully, checked mirrors, took the best route. Exactly like Dad would have. At one point, Jessica sighed, stressed. I glanced in the rearview mirror. She looked tired, anxious. I wanted to ask if she was okay, but I couldn't, because drivers don't ask. Drivers stay invisible, unless the passenger initiates, which they rarely do. We arrived. Financial District. Thanks, Jessica said. Got out, door closed. She gave me 5 stars and a $2 tip, and I realized that's what I'd given Dad. Hundreds of times. A quick thanks. Maybe a tip, maybe not. Then moved on with my day. Never thinking about the driver again. Never wondering who they were, where they were going, what their life was like. I drove for 6 hours that day, gave 14 rides, made $127. And I was exhausted. Emotionally exhausted. From being invisible, from watching passengers scroll their phones, from hoping someone would see me. Dad did this for 3 years, not for $127 a day, for the chance that one ride might be me. I found something that night. In Dad's records, a financial spreadsheet I'd missed. Sarah Fund Future. I opened it. Bank account, separate from Dad's main account. Balance $31,847. Deposits every month. Varying amounts. $200, $400, $600. Whatever Dad had left after expenses. Notes on each deposit for Sarah, for her future, for her children, for college, for emergencies, for life. Dad had been saving despite living on almost nothing, despite Uber being his main income, despite everything. He'd been building a fund for me, for my future. $31,847, saved over 3 years, while living in a studio apartment, while driving Uber, while eating instant ramen, because he couldn't be part of my present, but maybe he could be part of my future. The account had a beneficiary designation, me, and a note. To Sarah, use this for your children's education, or for emergencies, or for anything you need. I won't be there to help you in person, but maybe this money can help you from beyond. I called the bank, verified. The account was real, $31,847, all mine now. That night I told Emma, Dad saved almost $32,000 for me while driving Uber, while living on scraps. Sarah, your dad gave you everything, $8,472 in surge pricing, $31,847 in savings, 3 years of his life driving you around. He gave you everything, and I gave him nothing, not even recognition. You gave him purpose. You gave him a reason to wake up every day, to put on that disguise, to get in that car. That's not nothing. I drove Uber for 2 more weeks, part-time, after my software engineering job, evenings and weekends. I wanted to understand completely what Dad's life had been like. Every ride was a lesson in invisibility, in service, in hoping to be seen. I had a passenger who was rude, snapped at me. Can you turn the music down? It's annoying. I turned it off completely. Drove in silence. She didn't say thank you. She gave me 3 stars. Comment, driver was too quiet, weird. And I understood. Dad's 3-star rides from me, the ones where he'd been crying, where he'd been too emotional to talk, and I'd penalized him for it. I had a passenger who was drunk. Late night pickup from a bar. She could barely walk. I helped her to the car, made sure she got home safely, walked her to her door, made sure she got inside. She didn't remember me the next morning, didn't tip, gave me 4 stars. And I thought about Dad. How many times had he driven drunk passengers safely home, made sure they were okay, protected them, and received no recognition, no gratitude, just an expected service? I picked up a young woman, college age. She got in, immediately started crying. I'm sorry, she said. Bad day? I'll be quiet. I wanted to talk to her, to comfort her, to tell her it would be okay. But I was just the driver, so I said, take your time. It's okay. She cried the whole ride. I handed her tissues, drove slowly, gave her space. She got out. Thank you. You were really kind. 5 stars, $10 tip. Common driver was compassionate. Exactly what I needed. And I thought, this is what Dad wanted. Not money, not tips, just to be seen, to matter, to know his kindness was noticed. I found Dad's Uber driver community online, the forum where he posted. I messaged the moderator. My name is Sarah Chin. Robert Chin was my father. He recently passed away. I've been reading his posts here. I want to thank you all for supporting him. Within an hour, I had 50 messages, drivers from all over, expressing condolences, sharing memories. Bay Area driver _M, Robert was the best of us. He drove for love, not money. We all respected that. Someone else, I met Robert once, driver meetup in Oakland. He showed me your photo, told me about the 683 rides, said you were the reason he kept going. You gave his life meaning. Another, Robert helped me when I started driving, gave me tips, shared his strategies, never asked for anything in return. He was generous, kind, we'll miss him. I proposed something. I want to do a memorial for my dad. For Robert, a gathering of drivers. To honor him, would anyone come? 73 drivers said yes. We held it 2 weeks later. Parking lot of a rest stop off Highway 101. Mutual location, accessible. 73 drivers showed up in their cars. Uber stickers in windows, Lyft logos on dashboards. They were Dad's people, his community, the ones who'd understood his mission, supported him, checked on him. I stood in front of them, Dad's car behind me, the Camry he'd driven for 3 years. Thank you for coming. Thank you for knowing my dad, for supporting him. I told them the story, the estrangement, the 683 rides, the disguise, the love, the sacrifice. They listened. Many cried. They'd known parts of the story, but not all of it. My dad drove me 683 times, and I never recognized him, never looked up from my phone, never really saw him. But you all saw him. You knew who he was, what he was doing. You supported him when I didn't even know I needed to. Thank you for being his community, for making his invisible work visible, at least to each other. We had a moment of silence. 73 drivers in a parking lot, honoring one of their own. Bay Area driver _M spoke. Robert once told me, driving isn't about the destination. It's about getting people there safely, making sure they're okay. That's what fathers do. We get people where they need to go. He was talking about you, Sarah. He was getting you where you needed to go. Every single ride. That was his mission. Another driver. Robert made us all better drivers, better fathers. He reminded us why we do this, not just for money, but for purpose, for family, for love. We released 73 balloons, one for each driver present. Yellow balloons, Dad's favorite color. They floated up into the San Francisco sky, over the highways Dad had driven, the routes he'd taken with me. Gone, but the memory remained. I held Dad's funeral 3 weeks after he died. Small service. Mom, Emma, a few relatives, the 73 drivers. I asked if anyone wanted to say something about Dad, about Robert. Mom spoke first. Robert loved Sarah more than anything, more than himself, more than life. These past 10 years, without her in his life, broke him, but he found a way. A strange way, a desperate way, but a way. He never gave up being her father. Emma spoke. I only met Robert once, at Sarah's college graduation, before the estrangement. He was proud, beaming, taking photos, telling everyone, that's my daughter, Sarah. She's going to change the world. He was right. She is changing the world. In part because he never stopped believing in her. I spoke last, Dad. Dad, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. For 10 years of silence. For 683 rides without recognition. For treating you like you were invisible. But I see you now. I see what you did. The sacrifice, the disguise, the love. You were the best father, not despite the distance, but because of what you did with it. You found a way to be my dad when I told you that you couldn't be. You respected my boundaries while still showing up every single day in that car, waiting for me. That's not creepy. That's not stalking. That's love. Pure, desperate, sacrificial love. I'm going to spend the rest of my life honoring you, making sure people see their drivers, making sure invisible workers are visible, making sure your story is told. Thank you for 683 rides. Thank you for 3 years of careful driving. Thank you for never giving up on me. I love you, Dad. I see you now. I wish I'd seen you then, but I see you now. We buried Dad with his Uber driver badge, his sunglasses, his baseball cap, the disguise he'd worn to love me from a distance. After the funeral, Emma pulled me aside. Sarah, I need to tell you something, ask you something, and it needs to be in your dad's car.
We got in. The Camry. Backseat. Both of us. Where passengers sit.
Emma took my hand. Your dad drove me 14 times, remember? And I've been thinking about what he saw, what he witnessed. He saw us fall in love. He drove us to our first date, our 10th date, our anniversary dinner. He saw all of it. And I think he approved. I think he was happy for you, for us. Emma pulled out a box, small, velvet. Your dad couldn't be at our wedding if we have one, but he was there for our love story. He witnessed it from the front seat. She opened the box. A ring. Sarah Chen, will you marry me? In your dad's car. The place where he loved you, where he watched over you, where he saw us begin. I couldn't speak, couldn't breathe, just cried. Yes, yes, 1,000 times yes. We kissed. In the back seat of Dad's Camry, the car that had carried me 683 times, that had held Dad's love, that had been our connection. And I felt it. Dad's presence, his approval, his joy. He'd wanted this, for me to be happy, to be loved, to be safe. And Emma had been the one, the person who made me happy, who loved me, who kept me safe. Dad had known, had seen it, had driven us, had blessed it from the front seat. I kept Dad's car, didn't sell it, didn't trade it, kept it exactly as it was. 127,000 miles, worn steering wheel, Dad's photo in the sun visor, his Pine air freshener. I drive it sometimes, not for Uber anymore, but for me, to feel close to him, to sit where he sat, to see what he saw. And when I drive, I look at passengers differently, at other cars, at other drivers. I wonder, is that driver someone's father, someone's mother, someone trying to stay connected to a child who doesn't want them? I see them now, really see them, because Dad taught me through 683 rides, through 3 years of invisibility, through love from the driver's seat. I started something at my tech company called See Your Driver Day. 1 day a month. Employees are encouraged to sit in the front seat of their Uber Lyft, talk to their driver, learn their name, their story, report back, share stories, humanize drivers. It spread. Other tech companies adopted it, then other industries. Now it's in 47 companies across San Francisco. Thousands of people sitting in front seats, talking to drivers, seeing them, all because of Dad. Because his story reminded people drivers are human. They have lives, families, stories. They're not just the app. They're not just the service. They're people. I got a message 6 months after Dad died from Uber. Corporate, Ms. Chen, we heard about your father's story, about the 683 rides. We'd like to honor him. Create a memorial program. The Robert Chen Safe Ride Initiative. Free rides for people in need, funded by Uber in your father's name. I said yes. Of course I said yes. Now every month, 500 free rides are given to people who need them. Hospital visits, job interviews, family emergencies, funded by Uber. In Dad's name, the Robert Chen Safe Ride Initiative. Because Dad made 683 rides about safety, about getting his daughter where she needed to go, about love and motion. And now 500 other people get that every month. Safety, destination, care. Dad's legacy, spreading, growing, helping. I'm pregnant now. 8 months. Due in February 2025. A girl. We're naming her Robin. Robin Chen Martinez. After Robert, after Dad. She'll never meet her grandfather. Won't know him, won't have memories. But she'll have stories. 683 stories. About the grandfather who drove her mother to safety, who loved from the driver's seat, who never gave up. And when Robin is old enough, I'm going to take her to Dad's car. Let her sit in it. Tell her about the 127,000 miles, about the rides, about the love. I'm going to teach her see people, all people, especially the invisible ones. Drivers, servers, cleaners, workers who keep the world running while others scroll their phones. See them, say their names, say thank you, ask how they are. Because one of them might be someone's father, someone trying to stay connected, someone loving from a distance. Don't be like me. Don't take 683 rides without looking up. Don't realize too late that the driver was more than a driver.
See them.
Now, while they're alive, while there's still time to say thank you. If you're listening to this, do something for me. Next time you take an Uber, Lyft, a taxi, look at your driver. Really look. Say their name. Ask them how their day is going. Have a conversation. A real one, not just thanks and silence, because you have no idea who they might be, what they might be sacrificing, why they're driving. They might be someone's father, someone's mother, someone trying to stay connected to a child who cut them out. They might be my dad, and you might be me, and you might have 683 chances to see them. Don't waste those chances. Don't be blind like I was. See your driver before it's too late, before they're gone, and you're going through their phone, finding out they drove you 683 times without you knowing. My name is Sarah Chen. I'm a software engineer. I make $140,000 a year. I live in San Francisco. My father was Robert Chen, Uber driver, 4.98 rating, 3,847 trips completed, 683 of them with me. We were estranged for 10 years. I thought he was out of my life. I thought I'd moved on without him, but he never moved on. He became my driver. He wore a disguise. He drove me everywhere. He kept me safe. For 3 years, 683 rides, and I never recognized him, never looked up from my phone, never saw him until he died. Until I found his notebooks, his spreadsheets, his videos, his love, documented, organized, saved, for me to find after he was gone. He drove me to work, to dates, to life, and I never said more than thanks. But I'm saying it now. Thank you, Dad, for 683 rides, for 3 years of careful driving, for never giving up, for loving me from the driver's seat. I see you now. I wish I'd seen you then, but I see you now. And because of you, I'll make sure others see their drivers too. Subscribe to The Quiet Reckoning if this story changed how you see the invisible workers in your life. We tell stories about the parents who stayed close through service and the children who realized too late what that meant. Because those stories matter. Those people matter. Those drivers matter. Robert Chen mattered. He drove me home 600 and I'm finally home now. Home to understanding. Home to gratitude. Home to love. Even though he's gone. Even though I can't tell him in person. I'm home. Thank you, Dad, for driving me there.